Hello, beautifuls. I was doing some research for a workshop that I'm planning, and I came across an interesting study. It was interesting in regards to the workshop I was working on, but I also found it to be very pertinent for another area of life, and that is relationships. So this particular study was done in Israel, and they had taken two groups of men, and they showed them pictures of women and had them rate how sexually attracted they were to these women. And the men all, filled out their forms, and they also tested the amount of testosterone that was present in their saliva. And then what they did is they gave each group of men a jar to smell. Now the first group was smelling saline solution, and the second group was smelling women's tears. And then they asked the men to sit down again and look at pictures of women and rate how sexually attracted they were to them. Well, the first group, who had only smelled the saline solution, their score was equal to the first test they did. They were similarly, or very likely, sexually attracted to the women in the same way that they were before smelling the saline solution. That's probably a better way of saying it. And the second group of men who smelt the women's tears, they were less sexually attracted to the women's pictures that they saw. And instead, they found themselves feeling more compassionate and tender. They found an emotional connection with the women. Now, when the testosterone was also tested after smelling the jars, the first group, they had the same level of testosterone, whereas the second group of men who had smelled the the second group who had smelt the tears, their testosterone had actually dropped. Now, why is this interesting? This is interesting because women complain often that men only see us as sex objects, that they only meet us so far, that they don't meet us in the emotional way that we are aching to be connected with. And although true, sometimes that mad testosterone connection is something we want, and it's something that's important in a relationship. We too are looking for that deep emotional connection. And the reason why we are not finding it in many of our relationships is because as women, we are not showing up in that capacity. I know that for myself, and speaking for myself, I was raised in an environment where we were expected to be tough. My dad wanted us to be tough women, be able to handle ourselves. And in that place, I lost some of my softness. I lost a connection to my emotional aspect. And I actually started to view my emotional aspect as weak. And what happened was I was attracting partners that, one, wanted to show me how tough they were, or two, were not tough on their own and wanted me to be tough for them. And neither one was ideal. And I couldn't figure out why I was not attracting the type of partner that I wanted. And as we are living in a time where the divine feminine is awaking, where the feminine power is being called to step up, there is sometimes confusion about what that looks like. And in that place of claiming our power, we forget that part of our power is the beautiful softness that comes with our femininity that comes with attaching or connecting to our emotional well-being, our emotional state. And the truth is, we think that men don't want to meet us there. And yet when we show up in that place, they will meet us in that same place. And I'm speaking as a heterosexual woman, and I am using terms such as him, her, she, right? But it doesn't matter what your orientation is. If we are wanting somebody to meet us in an emotional capacity, whether we're identifying as male or female, we need to own our own emotional capacity. We have to be comfortable with that. And I thought this was such a profound study to show us the truth of the matter, that we will get what it is that we are showing up as. I thank you so much for listening to this perspective. And the invitation, if you're so willing to look at it, is to look at where you are showing up in a way that is not authentic to what it is that you want to attract in your relationships. Because what we are experiencing is equivalent to what we are showing up as. Until we speak again, please be well.